take one step back, because I'll be honest, we're dealing with doubts, and we're dealing with atheism, and we're dealing with the skeptic mind. Of course, people are going to say, well, actually, I don't believe in all this stuff, sorry to say. Yeah. In fact, some of them, they say, I remember walking home from school one time, and a person who was supposedly Muslim, yeah, I'm not going to reveal his name, but he came, he said to me, because I used to go to the prayer rooms and these kind of things, he said to me, do you really believe in these things? This is what he said. And this was, by the way, this was the time where I think New Atheism was at its height, like Richard Dawkins and these guys. He looked at me, and then he started laughing. I said, do you really believe in these things? I said, I was surprised that he had that mentality. But believe me, this mentality is widespread in the Muslim world, and this is widespread obviously in the world itself. What are we talking about here? The ghaibiyat. Heaven, hell, the angels, the wings. You say 600 wings? They hand wave it off. Say, what are you talking about, man? I'm into science. I'm into materialism. I think it was ironically Bernard Russell, the atheist, famous, who said, and it might not have been him, but he might have said this. It might have been him. He said, today's technology is yesterday's magic. Let's just put something in perspective. First, let me make a claim, and then I want to back it up. My claim is as follows. Let me put this here, please. My claim is that it's the easiest time in history to believe in the ghaibiyat. That's my claim. Heaven, hell, the angels, it is the easiest time to believe in it now than any other time in history. Why? If I took this phone 1,400 years ago when the Prophet ﷺ was around, we talked about already, we were outside, we saw the Jibal, we saw the mountains, we saw all this stuff, yeah? We saw all of that. Now imagine taking away the buildings and taking away everything, taking away the electronics and the cars, and the people, you only got 10,000 people. And I somehow go into a time machine, and I take this phone with me, okay? And I start showing them YouTube videos of Hamza Zorsis, and this one, and that one, and John Fontaine, and this one. What do you think the people are going to think I am? No doubt. They'll say, this guy's a magician. Does anyone have a doubt about that? Imagine if I start to show them certain other technological advancements that we have of today. Like, for example, I show them the airplane. Oh my God. I show them telephone networking and these things. This is too much. The internet, I'll show them the internet. Forget about 1,400 years ago. 500 years ago, 300 years ago, people would be shocked. In fact, I'm not sure, does anyone know how the airplane was invented? They say the Wright Brothers, right? The Wright Brothers in 1907, I think it was apparently, it should be, 1907, there was two American guys, yes? Yeah, there's different claimants. You see, like for example, in Brazil, they have this very important figure who has, I would say, a stronger claim. I forget his name now. To who invented the airplane. Yeah. Anyway, the point is this: is that when it first came out, and he was starting to ride it in Paris, people were accusing him of all kinds of stuff. That was in 1907 or something like that. So they were making a mockery of it. If you look at the newspaper articles, they were making a mockery. He said, this guy believes he can fly around the air. That's what they were saying. Now, you see why this is relevant. It's 100 years ago, where the woman didn't even have the vote in the country. They didn't until 1914. But they had the Labour Party, they had this, they had that, they had the Conservatives, in America they had the Democrats, they had the Republicans. Things were in place. They had the Constitution, they had all that. And they were shocked and bewildered at the fact that there were airplanes. They were making fun of the fact. Why? Because today's technology is yesterday's magic. Everything is incredulous to everybody until it's seen. What is so difficult about believing in a creature with 600 wings? Nowadays we live in an age where these guys are showing me the Neuralink, something you put in someone's head and then you can get their information from their brain, and you can load your information. They say, yeah, you can load it. And they say you can put the metaverse, they put the goggles and they're in some other place. But they're in their mom's backyard, but actually no, they're in Times Square. What I'm saying is now, with the age of technology, we should be the most capable of believing the ghaibiyat of any humans in any time in history. Because we've seen it being proven so many times. Where's the hadd al-a'la is where is the logical contradiction. So long as there's no logical contradiction, there should be no problem, man. But you know what? Even then, I would say, you'd be very surprised at what people believe. Scientists, materialists, atheists. Have you heard of the double split experiment? For example, I'm not going to go into details, but on the quantum level, they say one particle can be in two places at the same time. You know Harry Potter and the Philosopher's Stone, or whatever it's called? I remember when he ran through the wall. People say this is impossible, but in the quantum world, this is possible. You can run through walls and you can be in two places at the same time. Okay, I'll put it in this way for you, yeah? If I were to take a quantum physics textbook, and instead of using the terms, the scientific terms, I'll use religious terms, the whole thing becomes what they would call a fairy tale. Immediately. But a fairy tale is a fact if the white man with the lab coat says it. That's their prophet of the day. No one has seen this particle in two places at the same time. And by the way, they can't see it. The quantum world is invisible. Just to let you know it. Oh look, you guys believe in Richard Dawkins, say you believe in Buraq, it goes here, it goes there, you believe in winged animal, donkey, this, whatever. Say donkey is so much easier to believe than one particle being in two places at the same time, because that's a logical contradiction. And if you don't want to believe in those things, it's true, isn't it? It's true. So the ghaib is the easiest thing to believe in today. Jannah, Jahannam, say, I don't believe in these things, it's my friend. But then when he goes to the scientists and they tell him in evolutionary theory that basically, I'm being vague here, or I'm being crude, that a whale-like creature became a cow-like creature. It's in the same family, according to the classifications. A whale became a cow. How? Did it just jump on the air? No, it had to make so many transformations. Did we see those transformations? No, we didn't, but we would believe it. Because the white man with the lab coat said it. He's colonized our minds. He's told us what fairy tales to believe in. He's given it the label of approval. He said, this is the one. But we don't even know this guy's history, the lab coat guy. We don't even know what he's been doing. We don't know what collaboration he's part of, or what pharmaceutical company. All those things that we were doing ittiham of the prophets, we don't do ittiham of these guys with. What financial incentives does he have? You don't think scientists have financial incentives? The pharmaceutical companies and stuff, they are open. We want to maximize our profits. Eugenics, they were saying the black man is less than the white man. And they were using science. Even Charles Darwin, he says that the black man has a fifth, he had like a thumb on his foot. He didn't even know these things. He said he's a savage. And then this Hitler and those guys, they use it in eugenics programs. What I'm saying to you is this: science can be misappropriated, can be used, can be weaponized. So the reason why I preambled, because a lot of this discussion is about al-ghaib, about Allah taking the Prophet Muhammad to a certain place, Sidrat al-Muntaha, and this place and that place, and he saw this and that. So I can't believe in any of it. I haven't seen it. In that case, let's reject almost all of science. Let's see how the materialist in a dinner table feels like when he rejects quantum mechanics.